All right, can you hear me?
I can. How are you, Dustin?
Oh, fantastic. I'm excited to be here today, another live stream, get some good info and education around counterfeiting and keeping those insights for anyone that's collecting and being in the industry. So it's always good to protect our customers here. So yeah,
Yes.
so excited to be here with you guys today. Today's episode is how to spot counterfeit detection tips for modern collectors. So I want to welcome everyone. This is our numismatic talk, brought to you by American Coin and Currency. I'm your host, Dustin Lee, head of social media. I'm joined today by John Beatty. He's our founder and CEO of American Coin and Currency. Each week, we dive into the world of precious metals, everything between historic and authentication, investing and collecting strategies. Today's episode, like I mentioned, how to spot fake and counterfeit detection tips for modern collectors. We'll explore identifying fake coins, understanding toning, telling if a coin is clean, and how to protect collection from costly mistakes. Today, little introduction to myself, former e-commerce veteran. I've been a crypto builder. I've been collecting coins um, and Pokemon cards since the early 90s. Got into eBay in 1999. Been a seller on eBay since 2006. Um, identifying, intrinsic value with, coins or Pokemon cards and just collectibles in general. So, what led me into being here with you guys today. If you want to give a quick introduction to yourself, John.
And we love having you, Dustin. So
Thanks.
thank you. Okay. Yep. I'm John Beatty. I'm the founder and owner of American Coin and Currency, as well as ACDC Labs, which is a kind of a coin related business, but it involves digital twins of numismatic coins. I got into the business. I mean, I started collecting coins when I was a kid. And so I've always had that passion. I've always had passion for business, and just so I've been involved with different things in my life, different companies, different businesses I've built and sold, and I got into this business about professionally full time about 16 years ago, and it's just every year gets better and better. And what I really love is that there's always more to learn. Uh, I mean, you could be an expert on just one thing in this huge world of coins and collectibles and things like that. So it's to me that's exciting, and so yeah, I love doing this. I and the weekly 1 hour show that we do to and especially today, because this is near and dear to my heart with counterfeits and fakes and replicas, and it's really becoming a problem. And so people that that are in this marketplace, I'm sure if you buy enough coins, you're gonna, especially raw coins, which we'll get into the difference between raw and graded. You probably been burned. So I'm glad we're having this show, and we're gonna go trying to get into detail and get a little granular on what to look for, what not to look for, do's and don'ts, and also resources that are readily available to assist if needed. And so we're going to go over all that good stuff today.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's always good to have an educator such as yourself to educate our audience and anyone that's just starting in the industry. So it's good to have that knowledge. But yeah, let's get into it. So let's get into just the basics. Like how do you spot a counterfeit coin? What are some of the common red flags? Is it weight? Is it the edging? Is it the consistency, like the font? What are your takes?
Well, it's all the above. So let's start off with get really basic. Uh, in my years of doing this, I've had numerous coins come through that uh, are replicas, that are fakes, counterfeits, whatever word you want to use. So a good rule of thumb to keep in mind is that if you have an opportunity to buy something that's a really either a key date or just exceedingly rare coin, and the price is too good to be true, or just the deal of the century, be wary, because it's probably not a real coin. So what happens a lot of times, and I'll give everyone a great example because I was recently burned, and I'm a professional, and I still got I took the risk. Let's say that I was 50-50 on whether or not it was going to be genuine, uh, and it wasn't. But so Morgan silver dollars are some of the most uh, replicated and faked coins. So they're not going to be, and they meaning a lot of these are coming from China. Actually, China is the number one supplier of counterfeit coins in the numismatic market right now. So they're not going to create, let's say, like a 1921 Morgan dollar or a an 1882 or 1883 Philly. It's like a common year. It's not worth making those into replicas or fakes. So what they're going to do is they're going to take um, really key dates. So, right off the cuff, let's say 1892S or an 1893S or 1879 Carson City, 1889 Carson City, 19010 in a high grade. These coins are very scarce, and they're exceedingly valuable when you get into higher grades, six figures easy. So I picked up and this piece here recently, and that is a 1893 S San Francisco Mint. So when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is a score." I've never owned one of these, where I purchased it from the public and then got it graded and then sold it. I mean, I've bought them graded already and sold them like that, but never start to finish. So I was a little leery about it because I've seen many Morgan silver dollars over the years that what they do is the weight will match, and we'll get into that in a minute. But what they'll do is they'll take the same year, 1893, and they'll either alter the mint mark on the back on the reverse, or they will actually just add the S to it, and it looks so good that it's hard to tell. It doesn't. They make it look like it's old. It doesn't look like it was recently added. That's a easy tell that it's not genuine. So yeah. So I mean, I bought two of these, and again, the guy had two. My spidey senses were kind of, something's up here. But the other thing that we all have in human nature is that we don't want to pass a great deal. No one wants to lose out on a great deal. The whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out. So I went ahead and I bought. Luckily I only spent $1,500 a coin, so $3,000. Could be worse. But no, when I did send these in to get graded with NGC, they came back as not genuine. So, so
Yeah.
it happens to even to the pros. So being that Morgans, in my experience, are the most replicated coins, the most fakes created out there. There's some really great ways to see if it's genuine or not. Do you have any questions at this point, Dustin?
Yeah. So being that you've kind of ran across this, I know it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, and it's like, yeah, too good to be true, um, or yeah, like you said, like a FOMO kind of response. What are some of like kind of like top five coins that you see that are replicated?
They're always going to be super rare. So that right away is a tell for me. So
Right.
even this week, I had someone who called. Maybe they were watching our show, maybe they saw one of our ads, but they called, and I spoke with them, and they said that they had an 1890. I'm sorry, a 1794 dollar. And just the previous week, I had another person call who said they had an 1804 bust cap dollar. The 1800, I'm sorry, Drake bust. The 1804 and the 1794 are among the rarest coins. I think we've talked about that 1794. We even posted
Oh
it. There
yeah.
were over $10 million. So
Wow.
and the 1804 Drake bust, there's only 10 of those, 8 to 10, I believe, in existence. So when someone calls and says they have one, you're not. Chances are you're not. Now, weird things happen, right? We
Right.
posted about that kid that found that medal that was worth $4 million.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy.
you know, so and we've talked about a couple years ago. These people were fixing a fence post and they found a tin of gold coins, and one of them, in 1854 San Francisco, $5, sold
Oof.
for it was either 1.3 or 3.1 million. I can't remember off the top of my head. So crazy things do happen, right? Um, I think that the best thing to do, what I do is, so I'm sorry, let me answer your question. So the top five would be the 1794, the 1804 Drake bust. You'll see, and they're almost always dollars. They're always large denomination, like, as far as size, um, ounce coins. I have seen only not many half ounce or dimes or nickels or anything like that. They seem to concentrate on 1 ounce. But those two pieces, of course, I've seen numerous 1879 Carson Cities, 1889 Carson City, and then the other one that I've seen would be this one, which I have in my hand, the 1893 San Francisco. So those are the top five in my experience.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. They don't want to like counterfeit anything that's like a silver eagle or something that's like low price. Yeah, it's not worth their time.
No,
Um
because oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead. I'll ask another question once you respond.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would you put in the time to make counterfeits of coins that can only fetch a small dollar amount, whereas you can make counterfeits of coins, that could fetch. I guarantee you, there's someone out there that would. I spent 1,500 on this. I guarantee you, there's someone out there that would spend 5,000 or more, because I mean, this coin, if genuine, is roughly a $15,000 coin in this condition. So, again, buyer beware. If the deal is too good to be true, it probably is. And there are some really good resources, which we will get into further on this discussion, what to use, what to look for. But I would recommend having first off, a digital scale. They're cheap. Get them on Amazon. Go to the store, get them. If you're going to buy coins, raw coins, uh, this is a really handy tool, because the weights are, if they're not using the exact, like I said, this is an 1893, but it was probably either a Denver or a Philly,
Mm,
and so they added the mint mark somehow, some way. Um, so
okay.
this will weigh out perfect. But those other pieces that I had mentioned, those other replicas, like 1804 or the 1794, they can't get the weight right. So I always tell people is pop
Right.
it on a scale and it should weigh X amount. And you can find that information. It's readily available online if you go to onto Google or whatever your search browser is, and just type in what's the weight of a Morgan silver dollar. Or you have a red book. I have one over here. The red book, which is a great tool, and I suggest that everyone get one if you're going to get really involved with coins and investing in coins. But this has all the specs on every coin, and it tells you the weight, the diameter, all that stuff. So that's always a good tell, is using a scale and getting the weight. Excuse me. Um, Also, you had mentioned in the very beginning about how the edge might look. Sometimes they're using coins that have the wrong edge, so it could be a reeded edge, or it could be just a flat edge. Uh, so that's really easy to find out, and then check against what you're possibly buying. Um, and then yeah, as far as for those two. But what's happened in recent years and really has become prolific, Dustin, over the last 3 years, I would say, is uh, the influx of graded Chinese knockoffs. So this brings it into a whole new game, right? Because the rule of thumb, Dustin's always been, buyer beware, especially when you're dealing in raw coins, unless you really know what you're looking for. And even then, you could still get, burned like I did with these. Uh, with graded coins, uh, you look at it and you're like, wow, okay, this isn't a PCGS slab. This isn't an NGC slab. Fantastic. This must be real. Well, you buy it off, typically online. Um, I doubt dealers knowingly are selling fake coins. I hope not.
Right.
You're going to get arrested if you are, and you should be arrested. Um, but um, the graded coins look identical. So in that case, what do? Right? You use the tools readily available to you. So on all graded coins, they're going to have a unique numerical identifier, which is right down there. So whether it's NGC or PCGS, and I have to say real quick, Dustin, that NGC and PCGS, along with some other organizations within the numismatic industry, really take this serious. They've really taken steps to try to thwart the counterfeiters, and that they're actually adding certain things to the slabs themselves for anti-counterfeiting potential, and it seems to be working in some ways, but so going back to my point of a graded coin that's a counterfeit. So I buy some graded coins online. Again, I don't think dealers are selling these. I really hope not knowingly selling them, but they are prolific on eBay, on Shopify. I've heard even on Amazon and on Walmart.com. Yes, there are.
Oh,
Believe it or not, you can buy coins on Walmart.com. So what you do is before you purchase anything online, right? You ask the person, reach out and say, "Hey, send me a picture of the exact coin I'm going to receive." So they send a pic, right? And I deal with this quite often because when we sell a coin that's let's say a 5-figure coin, right? I want to be ahead of the curve and I want to give that information to the customer so they have it before they even have to ask me for it. Here's an image of the coin you're going to be receiving. Take that, and I give instructions. Now take this numerical identifier, go to ngccoin.com or go to pcgs.com. You can verify it, super easy, and they'll actually, in most cases, have a picture of the coin, the actual slab coin, and that way you can verify that PCGS or NGC did grade the coin and that it's genuine. If that number does not come up in this case, in NGC, well, you bought a fakie. So the tools are out there, and I just think that some people just don't know where to go, and that's what we're here for. We want to help because we want to get these kinds of coins out of the system, so to say.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a tough space, but yeah, it's hard to replicate some of those coins. So definitely, it's if it's graded, I'm sure there's a lot of safeguards, but yeah, like if they replicate like the numbers or the barcode or yeah, the information could be pretty much identical. But yeah, you can identify if you have the physical coin and there's a second replica out there, it's like clearly there's only one of those.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I've seen Dustin I've seen a couple great slabbed fakies, and they look great. Like if you really couldn't you wouldn't be able to tell unless you really do some looking. The way that these are sonically sealed, the encapsulation. If you really look with the loop, you can see a little difference in the ones that are coming from China. But
Oh,
to the normal person, they get let's say bought a sleeve of these, they get them, pull one out. Okay, that looks great. Back in the sleeve, they don't know, they're not the wiser that they just spent X amount of money on a bunch of fake coins. And what's interesting is that now, Dustin, they used to use like different metals. So like ferrous metals or even non-ferrous metals, so that a magnet, that's the first rule. I mean, I'm sorry I missed that, guys. I'm jumping a little bit, but have a magnet too, because just
Oh yeah.
put a magnet to it, and obviously if it's silver and a magnet sticks to it, it's not silver. So that's a great
Yeah.
little tool there.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought there going to the magnet. But the I would suggest going and using the graders, and of course, reach out to me. You reach out to a professional. If you're not sure about something you're looking to purchase, if the deal seems too good, I tell one thing about this business is a lot of our customers, I know they have other coin dealers that they work with. That's just the nature of the business for the most part. So I always tell people, just talk to me. I will at least give you, if nothing else, you'll get good advice, whether you do business with me or not. Hopefully you do, but either way, I'm going to give you honest, good advice, and I think that's lacking in our world right now. So I'm going to do my little part here with numismatics and investing in numismatics, and make sure that you have a great experience. Um, so learning about what to look for, learning about the most popular uh, uh, counterfeit coins, uh, it's pretty easy to do. And having that information at your disposal will hopefully save you from some expensive mistakes that are not your fault. It's just how the world we live in now, and you just have to you know, have your guard up, unfortunately. But that's what we're here for, to help.
Yeah, get a hold of us. udcoins@gmail.com, 561-310-8341 at coinandcurrency.net. Get a hold of us. All right, let's move on to some of the surface, aspects. So I know there's a like understanding like clean and like original surfaces. Some of those like how to spot like under magnification, like checking if there's certain like you know alterations and whatnot. What are some of like your takes on like how to look for those things?
Well, you need a magnifying glass or a loop first off, and then what you want to look for if you're buying raw coins, you're going to want to look if the coins. To me, a clean coin is pretty easy to spot out, but for someone who doesn't do this for a living, it might be a little more difficult. But you'll actually see, even though this is a hard, well, it's not really that hard. Silver is harder than gold, uh, but they still scratch easily. So you'll actually see the scratch marks if they used like something that has a little bit of a surface to it that just leaves these little scratch marks on the fields um, of the coin. It's pretty easy to look to see, and to then that they've been cleaned. And speaking of clean coins, Dustin, I was having a conversation the other day with someone who's in the business, and I've known him for a long time, and I trust him. But he was telling me that um, he has someone that just started working for him who was working at some place in wherever it was. I don't want to even say the state, but um, they primarily sell like rolls of peace dollars, rolls of Morgans, rolls of Kennedy, 1964 Kennedys or Franklins, and it's like what they would do. They had a big sink in their office, and they literally would get coins that were just heavily circulated, a lot of grime on them, and they were just the sink was filled with coins and a solution, and they put them in there, and they had literally a team of people cleaning the coins and then putting them in the rolls. There's 20 Morgans or peace dollars or the other ones per roll, so they were selling them as BU, brilliant uncirculated, when actually they were circulated, XF at most, extra fine, maybe fine. But the money that you could charge for an XF as opposed to BU is there's a pretty large spread there. So when I heard that, I was just like, it's just incredible that that happened. But I'm glad you asked that question, because if anyone out there who's listening ever buys a roll of coins that the dealer says are BU, brilliant uncirculated, or choice BU, or gem BU, any of those, it doesn't matter. Take a few minutes and just see if you see like just little scratching all over the obverse
Uh,
and reverse. And
okay.
if they just look too clean, you could kind of just tell when you've handled enough coins, like, that's been cleaned. And unfortunately, that just, in that case, they're doing something that's, in my opinion, fraudulent. That is fraudulent. I mean, you're cleaning coins and you're trying to pass them off as BU when they're garbage. Um, so I would always say that a good rule of thumb would be to make sure that you're working with a dealer who is a member of the American Numismatic Association, uh, member in some sort with other organizations within the numismatic industry, PMG, uh, NGC, PCGS. We're authorized dealers for all of these. So, working with a dealer who has those qualifications will help you out, and advice is free. At least it is with me. So going back to what to look for on the surfaces, I just brought up that story because the other thing was I had a really nice couple come to my office the other day, and they had inherited a bunch of coins, and they were like, well, we were going to clean them because a bunch of them have toning on them, and so silver tones. And so I was like, oh. So anyone listening, never, never, ever, ever clean your coins. And my analogy to that, Dustin, that's like if you bought a antique piece of furniture and decided to sand it and restain it. Well,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You're getting rid of the original patina that piece
Ah,
has.
okay.
So cleaning coins, but what's nice, and I think a lot of people don't realize, is that NGC and PCGS, they have conservation services where they will clean your coin when you submit it for grading. So it costs a few dollars more, but if you're submitting a rare piece, like let's say, my 1893 fakie, San Francisco, if this had stains on it, if it was dirty, I could send this in and I could use their conservation service, which they obviously know what they're doing. They're going to clean it correctly
Right.
and then grade it. And the last time I did that, the piece I sent in, I don't know, it was an Abraham Lincoln piece. It wasn't a denominational coin. It was a token of some sort back from when he ran for president.
Uh,
Um, but it was really cool. It was a half dollar, and well,
Interesting.
half dollar size, silver, but it looked black, and you could barely see any of the details on the coin. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm going to send it in, and they'll actually suggest it too, which is great. That the graders will be like, hey, this coin, if cleaned by us, could bring a lot more value. Who doesn't want that, right? I mean, duh. So when I received the coin back, Dustin, I was shocked. It looked so nice. It was just the luster coming off of it. It was just shiny, and I could see all the details in the coin on the obverse and reverse. And so that's a service that's offered there, and I would use them to your full advantage. And of course, use us, use a dealer that you trust, to help you look for, or weed out those coins that are deemed to be not genuine.
okay. So the someone doing it is frowned upon, but if the grading services do it, it's fine. So that's kind of what I hear, or
Well,
the way they do it.
because
I'm assuming.
well, because the grading service, they know what they're doing.
Right.
They're professionals.
Right.
Whereas, like, most people are going to get a silver coin, and they're going to put in some kind of solution or put some soap on it or something, and just go like this, and
Oh,
rub real hard, right?
right. Just
That's what
yeah,
creates the scratches.
I see.
Even if I rub this coin or a gold coin with with this, which is for sunglasses, it's a very soft fabric. If I rub enough, I'm not going to rub it hard, but it'll leave scratches. If I take a loop, I'll see scratches, even from a microfiber like this. So yeah, let the pros do it. If you have something valuable that you want conservation work done on it, let the pros do it. Now, I know there are people out there that clean their own coins. I've done it before and then sent them in for grading. But I've only done it with coins that weren't too expensive. I wouldn't trust myself to do that with, let's say, like a 50 or $100,000 coin. I'll leave it to the pros in that case.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because if they make that decision, they're the ones grading it, so they know the difference. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, it's huge,
Yes.
huge
Yep.
difference. And yeah, that's good. Like having that particular coin still maintain its look like over the years. It's almost that the not necessarily wear, but like the surface toning or being dirty over years has protected its luster. Like you mentioned with the 50 the half dollar. Um,
Yep.
yeah, so that's actually better rather than just individual trying to clean it and just wipe it down because yeah, I'll lose a lot of that. Um, so yeah, that's important. So yeah, I like that
So
take.
you'll like this. You'll like this, Dustin, because you and I have worked on NFC chips before. Um, PCGS uses several anti-counterfeiting measures, including a new
Okay.
generation of holders with NFC technology embedded in them.
Okay.
So, yeah, we were playing around with that with our digital twins of the coins
Yeah.
for ACDC Labs, where you could
Yep.
just take your phone and ping it, and then all the coins information shows up on your phone because of an embedded NFC chip in there. So yeah, I mean they're making strides to try to thwart the continued threat of counterfeits. But
Mm.
unfortunately, it's wide open. I mean, it's not slowing down. And with now you have there's more and more platforms, which is great. I love lots of platforms to sell and buy and sell coins. But
Right.
with more platforms doing this online, and a lot of this happens online, you're going to get more fakes. It's just going to happen. So buyer beware. But there are tools out there, and there are dealers like me to advise you, which we're more than happy to do.
Mm. Yeah, it's important to talk to professionals and get a good understanding of how they do it rather than someone that doesn't understand or can damage products or buying it from unauthorized dealer or someone that doesn't have any credibility. It's good to
Right.
to do a little research. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
yep.
markets. Oh yeah,
And again, Dustin, it really goes back to if someone sees something or if they're offered a deal on a coin that's an exceedingly rare coin, and B at a price that doesn't seem to make sense, right there, it's not real. I mean, there's 99% of the time it's not going to be real. Probably 99.5% of the time it's not going to be a genuine coin.
mm,
So again, it happens. It's just the thing is to learn from those experiences and not make those same mistakes again. And here's me saying that after professionally doing this for 16 years and buying still buying a coin. But on that one, I kind of knew I was just going to roll the dice. I figured for three
right,
grand, I'll roll the dice. If it worked out, that would have been an absolute score. Uh, because I've never, like I said earlier, I've never gone from procuring a raw coin of that caliber to sending it into grading and then having the graded coin and then selling it to one of our customers. And I might have even kept that for myself, to be frank. It probably would have gone in the old 𝗦𝗍cie collection there. So, yeah, but there's lots of tools out there to use. 𝗦𝗫𝘂 and 𝗵𝐶 are really in the front lines trying to fight against this just wave of counterfeits coming into the country. Dealers that are members of the organizations, like I mentioned, ANA, authorized dealers of 𝗵𝐶, 𝗦𝗫𝘂, these are the people you want to work with. And of course, I would love for you to work with us. So by all means, give me a call. My direct line is 561-310-8341. It's not a toll-free number. It's not a number that a robot's going to answer. It's me who's going to answer that call. So yeah, we're here to assist in any way. We love building collections. We love building portfolios, alternative investments. Last week we went over an hour on self-directed IRAs, in particular precious metals backed self-directed IRAs. So we really are a one-stop shop for not only a wide array of numismatic coins and rare currency notes and other high-end collectibles, but also a great source for just knowledge and advice and all those things that are needed to make an intelligent decision. Because listen, I don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on something and find out that it's not real. I mean, I don't know anyone who would want to do that, right? So take a few minutes, reach out to me, reach out to someone comparable to me, a dealer comparable, and we'll help you to. Then that's what we're here for. We love what we do. I can speak for myself that I love educating and helping our customers. And I've said it a million times to you, Dustin, off air. I've said it on air, that an informed customer is a good customer. And that's what we strive to do.
Yeah, it's super important to be educated in any industry, really, and having professionals and authorized dealers and ANA life members to be there for you guys. It's very important to reach out. So
Absolutely.
yeah, here's our contact information again. Contact us direct line 561-310-8341. You can get a hold of John. All right, let's get into some more questions before we wrap up for the day. We didn't really touch about artificial and natural toning. We talked about toning in general, but like, what are some of the things you've seen, like people that've like created like artificial toning, like rainbow patterns and chemical heats, using
Great
some
question.
tricks. Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah. So let's talk about toned Morgans, because that's a whole subset. And highly toned Morgans are they're pieces of art, because everyone is different. They're unique to themselves. And what the term is when you have a great amount of toning on the obverse and the reverse, they're known as monster toning. And monster toned Morgans, boy, I wish I would have sent you this graph earlier, but the number of coins that are toned, number of Morgans that are genuinely toned I believe it's 2 decimal places over. So it's like 0.02% of Morgans actually get natural toning. And what causes that, there's different, excuse me, there's different reasons for that toning to happen. But one key factor was when these coins were originally bagged, and this is something I've read in the past, but when they used to mint these coins, right? Let's say the Philadelphia Mint. In this case, there's a San Francisco Mint, but they'd mint them, and these coins would go in large bags that would then be distributed to Federal Reserve banks, which then get distributed to local banks. These bags were canvas bags. Yeah, that's a good image. And certain chemicals in those canvas bags actually caused a chemical reaction to create toning. So you'll see certain years of Morgans that have more toning than others. So right off the top of my head, I've seen many, 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 1882, 1883, New Orleans, for some reason, a lot of New Orleans toned coins. Not as many San Franciscos. I've seen a good amount of Phillies. When you get into certain years, there's no toning. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure exactly which years, but we actually have been one of the top dealers of toned Morgans for years now. They are wildly valuable. If you have Morgans in your collection that are just sitting and they're toned, reach out to me, because you could be sitting on a little gold mine there. And then you have peace dollars, which should never tone. It's very rare to have a toned peace dollar, but every once in a while we do get one. Going back to what you had originally brought up about what to look for. So a naturally toning coin, you'll see how the colors flow, right? It's not a quick jump from one color to the next. It's kind of like you see the rainbow in there, right? The what's the word for that? Well, it's basically Roy G. Biv, right? All those different colors. That's what you see in genuine toning. It's kind of a slow toning. The colors are they kind of go from like up this top one, you see silver, and then you see different shades going to the next color, and then it ultimately is like a red with some blue in there. If you look at the coins that were artificially toned, now there's ways to do that. You could put a Morgan in a shoebox and put some kind of an acidic item in there. I've heard lemons be used before, things like that. Let them sit, and that acidity causes toning to occur. Heating up the coins. There you go. That one's been heated, it looks like. So the heated up coin will get this doesn't have the same flow or consistency of color pattern changes. If you understand what I'm trying to get across, it's just like, I don't even know how to really describe it other than what's on the screen there, is that it just looks different. It's not that slow bleed into different colors. It's just like boom, boom, one to the next. So using acidic elements of some kind in a vacuum tones coins, but that's artificial toning. Of course, heating them, that tones coins. Once they get sent in for grading, though, they'll come back as artificial toning, or they just won't get graded at all. They probably grade them, and just, I've sent one in recently. I don't have it with me, but it came back as, whatever, AU details, artificial toning. So it's pretty easy to once you've seen enough tone coins to kind of pick out which ones are, now sometimes you get weird toning where that might be real, but I've never really seen that in my experience. It's just that you have that nice consistent color pattern changing, where that's just like splotchy, and it's just doesn't look right in my mind. And then you have, I love like nickels that get toned. They turn blue. They turn this beautiful like gunmetal blue, which beautiful
okay.
color. Pennies. Pennies turn red, they turn blue. I've seen beautifully toned pennies. Of course, dimes, because there you go. Look how cool that top one looks. Of course, dimes, and yeah, so tone coins, like I said, when I started this discussion about the toners, is that there's a large subset of investors and collectors who try to amass as many of these as they can, because they are, if you have a highly toned Morgan silver dollar, especially on both sides, even if it's just a common date, let's say a 1885, San Francisco, or not yeah, or Philly, um, the coin itself might be worth, let's say it grades out mid state 63 or mid state 64, a couple $100. But if it has amazing toning on the obverse and reverse, now you're looking at a $4,000 coin, 5,000. I've seen them sell for much, much more than that, 15, $20,000 for really toned, absolutely beautiful works of art. Like, they're literally nature's artwork that take decades and decades and decades to create that level of toning. And that's why they fetch a large premium.
Mm. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I've seen the dimes. Here, I'll pull this up here. I've seen the
Yeah,
toning on dimes. It's interesting. And the way that it's toned, you can tell that it is natural because it's in specific places and not like the other ones that were artificial. It was like you said, like splotched on there, like just a big old glob of like discoloration where you could see, there's hints of like aging on the corners. It's specific around the ear and the head, not necessarily like in the middle of the face. So, and like you can see around his lips and like it's kind of underneath the nose, like that's really specific. So yeah, it's interesting. There is a subset of people that are interested in toned coins. It makes
oh
sense.
yeah, it's
Can't
huge.
create it. Like it's just naturally occurring. Um, and like how they are displayed is very unique. It's not you can't recreate that. So yeah, that's great. Like I personally didn't even know that. Like I've seen coins that have been toned, but I never put two to two together. Like this is its own, collectible, identifier.
Big.
That's wow, interesting.
And again, and that's why you see a lot of, I go online and I'll see a lot of toned, um, American Silver Eagles get toned, and some of them get beautiful toning. But Silver Eagles, Morgans, some Peace Dollars, because again, for whatever reason, Peace Dollars just don't tone. Not like Morgans, and I really don't have the answer for that because they're both silver.
Huh.
Um, I actually should do a little more research into why that happens. So when the Peace Dollars come up, they, like I said earlier, they're really valuable, and of course, highly toned Morgans are very valuable. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's I go online and I see all these toners, and they're just, it's like adding insult to injury because I know not only is this coin fake, but it also has fake toning on it. You know,
Gee.
so it's just making it worse.
Ah,
Uh,
that's
but
terrible.
until people learn and kind of learn what they're, not learn a lesson, but learn about coins and learn to look for what they're purchasing and what to look for and all that good stuff, it's just going to continue, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, education's huge. And yeah,
It really
looking up any of this information, yeah, it's not as common knowledge. Like for instance, I didn't even know, the collectible aspect of tone coins, but I could see why. And it has its specificities of like why someone would, seek out specific ones. Um, it looks
absolutely.
beautiful. Like the coloration and the blue nickels. I've seen blue nickels as a child. Like I didn't even think about, you know,
Oh, really?
like yeah, because I collect a lot of like buffalo nickels and V nickels. Back in the 1800, was it 1800s? Early 1800 V nickels, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, I did all that Mercury dimes and half dollars and um. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so there's a website if you ever want to look at it. It's monstertonedmorgans.com.
yep, that was where we were at. Yeah, we were on that
Okay.
website here.
Okay.
I'll pull it back
Cool.
here. Monster Monster
I
Toad.
mean, they are just gorgeous.
Yeah, they had some really good pieces. Let's see. Share this tab. Let's go back here.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of resources on here. Natural versus artificial toning, color progression, famous bank bag hoards, value of tone morgans, pricing tone morgans. It takes a little while to kind of figure that stuff out. But I'll tell you what's oh, this is what's great too is they have the color classification system for tone coins, and it
Oh,
kind of goes into where if you go to monster toning and then go to all about tone morgans. Oh yeah, you're there. And then you click on that or just
history
go
versus
down, go down, keep going, and then you'll see keep going a little more.
other ways Morgans are tone, distinguishing.
There you go.
Oh, these
So
are the
these
oh,
are colors that appear in after a certain amount of time.
oh. How are cycles determined now? That's like that's a cycle. What's a cycle?
It has something to do with the I'm sure that scientists can know when the progression of patina occurs
Yeah,
because
like it breaks down. Like
it's a chemical reaction that's happening.
right. Yeah. Yeah, like some oxidation or just like
That's what it is.
wear, like water, like
Yep.
how that determine like if I left you know a coin in the rain for 50 years, or it's just been sitting in some dusty drawer for, grandparents gave to me or something. Um, yeah, so yeah,
That's
interesting what
hurting
this
depending on how your coins are stored. Like
exactly
you could have, and it could be the perfect conditions up in an attic somewhere where
right,
the
yeah,
natural.
humidifier, like could be yeah, like temperature regulated vaults, it could be held in, some type of security vault. So like, you know, um, yeah, there's so many ways that it could have been held. But like, yeah, where is that like what is the that would be a question I would have for somebody that knew more about like what is the common reason? Is it just oxidation? I mean, I would assume, but like, if it was a coin that was in, the water, if it was like a buried treasure, some of those coins are toned as well. Um, yeah,
Unless it's salt water. In salt water, they
salt.
don't. They
Does it
get they get
preserve it?
no, they get eaten. That's why a lot
No.
of that's why
Yeah.
most shipwreck coins are graded, and when they're saltwater effect, it's called, is a
Right.
designation. Very,
Ah.
it's not too common to have straight like graded, MS 60 for a 8 real that was under the sea for 300 years. Normally, there's saltwater corrosion or saltwater
Right.
effect. Uh, but
Huh.
no, I get your point that it's just depending on where they were, held, and I mean, I then that's what always fascinates me about this industry as well is that there's literally treasure hidden. In some grandma's attic, she might have her husband had 50, 100 rolls of Morgan silver dollars back from when they used to get, but they would spit out at casinos because slot machines used to spit out Morgans back in the day.
Huh.
So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And he just took them and put them up in the attic, and they were forgotten about. And years later, you have a bunch of toned Morgans and other toned coins. And so, I mean, you could go really. Someone could go crazy collecting toned coins because they are so valuable in some cases. But I do want to point out that depending, we can work with anybody. It doesn't matter what your budget is, right? Some people have a budget of $1,000 a month. Some people have a budget that we work with currently that spend $100,000 a month. So
Mm.
from here to here and everywhere in between, there are options for you, and that goes into picking the right coins, which we really specialize in. Like that is our forte. We only get coins that are very low population, as you see them too. Low population, low mintage, and in high demand. And those are the coins that really show returns. So Of course, with larger dollar amounts to spend, you can get into different levels of collecting and investing in coins, obviously. But I just want to point out that there's something for everyone, and that all starts with a conversation.
Yeah, just figuring out like someone's how much money they're willing to spend, like what type of coins they're wanting to collect. Some of it could just be simple coins, if it's like nickels and quarters or
Sure.
like half dollars, compared to like, high graded coins that are like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's just having a conversation because we need to find out what your objectives are. Is this purely for fun? Just collecting for fun? Is this
right.
for investment purposes?
Yeah, it
What are
makes
your goals? What are you looking to get out of this? So having that conversation right from the get-go really helps us to put our customers in the right position to get the maximum amount of value for their hard-earned dollars.
mm. Yeah, that's perfect. That was a good segue for our next Q&A because that was a question I had previously. It was about collector strategy. So you pretty much hit the nail in the coffin there. So that's good.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
Didn't even know it. Awesome.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I did want to say one other thing because I know we're getting
we're at that
oh,
hour here.
this hour goes by so fast. I mean, this is just so much
Yes.
fun doing.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
read an article yesterday that as of yesterday, central banks around the world own more gold than U.S. Treasuries for the first time.
Jeez. Makes sense. I mean, sleep at the wheel, that's I mean, you're gonna have quantitative easing and print out money for the world. They're gonna use it for some other reasons outside of just
Yeah.
for their economy. They're gonna maintain their stability of
Don't
the
get me
treasuries.
started on QE. Don't get me started on that QE. That was
Yeah,
Bernanke's pet project that is now they're never getting rid of. Like that, it's part
yeah,
of our
that's it.
system.
That's it. Like the printer goes burr when we need it, so can't go
Print
backwards.
her up. Start printing that money.
Buy commodities and hopefully it kind of balances out the economy. But
Absolutely.
it's a big
Absolutely. You have to have
game.
assets. In this
Hard
kind of
asset.
environment, you have to have hard assets.
Yeah.
And so what we have is that's a hard asset, and it will shield your wealth against inflation, which is what Dustin and I are talking about right now. More money, you print more money, you're going to have inflation. I don't care what anyone says. That's just common sense to me. You're, so um, having your hard-earned dollars in stuff that's going to be a store of value and protect you against that those dollars being diluted. Uh, this is a great vehicle for that. So yeah, please give us a call. Let's at least have a conversation and see if there's a fit here for us to do something. Because again, whether you're looking to have a few $1,000,000 in an amazing collection or a few $1,000s in a great collection, we can help you with that. We can assist. It's just a phone call. I like phone calls. I like, I don't mind texting and emailing, but this kind of stuff, when we're talking about how we're going to spend your hard-earned dollars, a phone call I think is important.
Yeah. Give us a call. Number's right on the screen. And yeah, we'll move into our Q&A here. We got a couple questions from the community before we wrap up for the day. What is the most realistic fake you've seen or purchased? Oof.
I purchased a 1943 penny a couple years ago. This gal brought it in. Her dad had collected. He had a real eclectic taste, really cool things that he brought in. He actually, one of the things, this is totally off subject, but she brought in a pen, Dustin. It was a little bigger than this, but it was a pen that spy agencies used back in like the 50s and 60s.
Oh.
It was actually a gun. It was no
Oh, a gun.
bigger than,
Yeah,
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 it was
yeah.
a pen. but it was legit, and
Okay.
it fit a 22 caliber short.
Yeah,
Put it
that
in
makes
there,
sense.
boom, and it was wild. Like that, the
One.
plunger with the trigger.
Wow.
Yeah, she wouldn't sell it to me. I wanted it so bad, but anyway,
Yeah, for real. I would want that. That's cool.
it was cool. Yeah, but I saw that 1943, and I was just like, wow, I've never had one. I got really excited. I bought it, and it was. I mean, I did a ton of research. I looked under a loop magnifier with that thing so many times, so many hours. I probably burnt out my left eye. Uh, I thought for sure it was genuine. Nope,
Okay.
it wasn't genuine, and it
Dang.
was perfect. I mean, perfect. But that's why you have the real experts. That's why you have the grading services, PCGS and
Yeah.
NGC, to make that determination.
Yikes. Man. Well, I hope that answered your question. That yeah, that's gotta have those safeguards for sure. Has any coin slipped through grading services like PCGS or NGC that get graded? Um, I mean
So
that we
I think I might know what he's talking about. I actually have a little. This is another subset of the community in collecting. I do it. I have coins that have slipped through NGC or PCGS that shouldn't grade a 70. And whether it's a big scratch on the coin or a divot or something that I see after the fact. And um, so yeah, it does happen. Coins do get through that shouldn't be 70, but it's not often. But actually people collect NGC and PCGS's mistakes,
Oh.
and they're worth money, which is kind of crazy.
It is
Yeah.
always some subset of collectors are
Oh,
interested in errors
a
if it's
subset of a subset of a
of a
subset
subset.
of a
Yeah.
subset.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, I think any collection or collecting in any industries, it's very similar. I'm in the
Always.
Pokemon
Yeah,
industry.
it is.
It's the counterfeit, even the counterfeits of like early '90s, counterfeits. People are like, yeah, we want those counterfeits. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
those those are sought out for. So yeah, I get it, but yeah, it's, I wouldn't want any fake coins are graded, but I guess if it's valuable, but I wouldn't. It's not something I seek out personally.
Yeah.
Um, that makes sense. Well, I'll have to answer your question. It sounds like, yeah, sometimes they do make mistakes. They're humans. It's hard to, if there's some AI grading service out there, it would be kind of hard to like determine, so human errors is gonna happen sometimes, but it doesn't sound
Yeah.
like it's common. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, we'll wrap it up today, guys. We're here at the hour, 10 minutes over, a little bit longer than usual, but we got some good information around toning, counterfeiting, edge, rainbow, the look, the specific subsets. I personally learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot too. We're here every week, Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can find us on Facebook, X, Instagram's kind of we're working on that. Instagram, we're supposed to be on there, but we're not. YouTube, you can find us on all our major social media platforms. So feel free to ask questions. Our Q&A is always open. This week we did have the link shared, so we may do that again where our audience can jump on possibly. We'll see how that works. And come by and ask questions. No question is a dumb question. We're all learning from each other, and that's important to ask professionals such as John here.
Yeah.
And I'm Dustin Lee, head of social media here at American Coin Currency. We're here with John 𝗦𝗍, CEO, founder of American Coin and Currency. And you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Stay sharp, stay curious, and keep collecting smart. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.
1 second, Dustin.
Oh, you're gonna wrap up? What you got?
Real quick. I just thank everyone for tuning in and listening to us. I do hope everyone learned a little something. That's really what we're here for. I do want to give a little teaser. Next week, we're having a special guest on.
Oh,
This gentleman, he is the real deal treasure hunter. He's been on the bottom of the seafloor, literally picking up Spanish treasure in the Bahamas off the 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝘂 shipwreck. His name is Richard. He'll be joining us next week to go over his tale and tell us a little bit more about his exciting life. Back, I believe this was back in the 70s when he was a part of that salvage team that discovered the shipwreck and then pulled out, I should say, I don't know how many tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of treasure. But yeah, that's next week. So please tune in. It'll be a really, really interesting discussion we're going to be having.
For sure. Yeah, I forgot about the closing thoughts. Sorry about that. No,
No problem.
that's great. It's great. Yeah, I'm glad that you shared that because we're going to be having some interesting guests going forward. We had Rachel with us from the Entrust Group last week, so you check that as previous stream as well as our next week's episode. We'll really see more information next week, so stay tuned for more. And yeah, I'm excited to have on some new guests.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.